two European aircraft carriers now represent the most visible symbols of NATO's maritime air power, the Royal Navy's HMS Queen Elizabeth and the Italian Navy's ITS Cavour. Both operate the F-35B Lightning II. Both were built to project fifth-generation air power from the sea, and both serve as floating ambassadors of European industrial and strategic ambition. Yet beneath this cooperation lies a subtle competition. Who truly leads NATO's next era of carrier warfare? The Queen Elizabeth and Cavour come from different eras and philosophies. The British program was born after the end of the Cold War, when the United Kingdom sought to regain its blue water reach and global prestige after decades of downsizing. The result was a massive ship, 65,000 tons, 280 meters long, capable of carrying more than 30 aircraft, designed to serve as the centerpiece of a global carrier strike group. Italy, on the other hand, pursued an incremental approach. The Cavour, launched in 2004, followed decades of experience with smaller aviation ships like the Giuseppe Garibaldi. It embodies Italy's regional strategy, flexible, self-reliant, and focused on the Mediterranean basin rather than global operations. From a technical standpoint, the Queen Elizabeth class outmatches the Cavour in size and endurance. The British carrier uses an integrated electric propulsion system providing up to 110 megawatts, ensuring high efficiency and quiet operations. The Italian vessel relies on a CODAG arrangement, gas turbines combined with diesels, optimized for moderate speed and fuel economy. The difference reflects the doctrines. The British ship is meant to stay at sea for months, projecting power across continents. The Italian ship is built for quick deployment and regional crisis response. On the flight deck, the contrast continues. The Queen Elizabeth's enormous flight deck supports up to 24 F-35Bs and 14 Merlin or AW101 helicopters. It has two large elevators, twin islands for air operations and navigation, and the infrastructure to sustain continuous sorties. The Cavour, after its 2020-2022 modernization, can host around 10 F-35Bs and 6 helicopters, operating in mixed strike and transport roles. Where Britain seeks mass and tempo, Italy values adaptability, a carrier of presence rather than a carrier of mass. The air wings also tell different stories. The Royal Navy reached full operational capability in 2023, deploying a combined British-American air group aboard Queen Elizabeth during operations over the Middle East and the Pacific. The integration of U.S. Marine Corps F-35Bs proved the ship's global reach. Italy, by contrast, achieved initial operational capability in 2024. Its approach is inter-service. Both the Navy and the Air Force operate F-35Bs under a shared command structure, giving Rome flexibility to use the aircraft from land bases or from the Cavour. The next milestone, expected in 2026, will see Italy achieve full operational capability and a fully integrated carrier strike group. Sensors and defensive systems show another national divergence. The Queen Elizabeth relies on the Artisan 3D radar and defensive coverage provided by escort ships, mainly Type 45 destroyers with Aster missiles. The Cavour, meanwhile, integrates Italy's indigenous Leonardo Kronos Grand Naval Radar, an ASA system capable of simultaneous air-sea tracking, paired with the TESEO Mk2 long-range anti-ship and land attack missile. This self-reliant architecture underscores Italy's pursuit of strategic autonomy. Unlike the UK, which depends heavily on joint logistics with the US and NATO, Italy designs, builds, and maintains much of its electronics, missiles, and sensors domestically through Leonardo and MBDA Italia. Doctrine separates them even further. The Royal Navy follows the carrier strike concept, a networked formation centered on the carrier and its escorts, designed for high-end warfare in the North Atlantic or Indo-Pacific. The Italian Navy emphasizes projection of power and rapid reaction, agile forces that can intervene along the southern flank of NATO, from Libya to the Red Sea. Britain trains for distant operations, while Italy focuses on stabilization and deterrence in the Mediterranean. In NATO's grand structure, the Queen Elizabeth serves the northern pillar of the alliance, while the Cavour anchors the southern flank. Geopolitically, both carriers symbolize ambition beyond their tonnage. When the Cavour led a task group to Japan and the Philippines in 2024, it marked the first time an Italian carrier had operated in the Indo-Pacific. It was not just a show of flag, but a message. Italy seeks to play a role in the emerging Indo-Pacific security network. The Royal Navy, with its AUKUS connections, is already a familiar face in the Pacific. Together, the two ships demonstrate that European allies are no longer confined to their home waters. Yet within NATO, there is a quiet contest. Britain, as the traditional maritime leader, versus Italy as the rising industrial power, offering an alternative model: smaller, smarter, and self-sufficient. Industrial capacity reflects that duality. Britain's two-ship program cost nearly £4 billion and required multinational cooperation led by BAE Systems and Thales. Italy's single-ship effort cost about €1.3 billion, built by Fincantieri with mostly domestic supply chains. London's carriers are larger, but also more dependent on foreign technology and joint operations. Rome's approach, though smaller, sustains Italy's defense industry: radar, sensors, missiles, propulsion, giving it a rare degree of autonomy in Europe. The human dimension matters as well. The Queen Elizabeth sails with roughly 1,600 crew, trained for complex flight operations and global deployments. The Cavour uses a leaner crew of around 1,200, emphasizing automation and efficiency. Both navies train closely with the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps, but Italy's integration between its Navy and Air Force is unique. It creates a flexible model for other mid-sized navies seeking to operate advanced aircraft from the sea without building massive ships. Looking to the future, each nation is exploring new technologies. The Royal Navy's Future Maritime Aviation Force envisions carrier-launched UAVs to complement manned fighters. Italy is experimenting with Leonardo's AW609 tiltrotor from the Cavour, testing a hybrid concept where tiltrotors, helicopters, and F-35Bs operate together. If successful, the Cavour could become Europe's first hybrid carrier, capable of launching both fixed-wing stealth jets and VTOL tiltrotors for long-range missions. In strategic terms, these two carriers are not rivals, but reflections of Europe's maritime diversity. The Queen Elizabeth embodies global reach and alliance leadership. The Cavour represents regional mastery and technological independence. Together, they illustrate how Europe's two great naval traditions, British expeditionary power and Italian maritime craftsmanship, are converging into a shared deterrent posture. From the cold waters of the North Atlantic to the warm seas of the Mediterranean, both ships now project the same message: Europe will not be a passive coastline in the age of great power competition. Whether through Britain's massive strike group or Italy's agile Mediterranean fleet, NATO's southern and northern pillars are now tied together by the same jet, the F-35B. In the end, the Queen Elizabeth may remain the heavyweight champion, but the Cavour embodies the future of adaptable naval warfare: smaller, cheaper, networked, and autonomous. One is the spear of global ambition, the other, the shield of regional stability. Together, they redefine what it means to project European air power from the sea: two carriers, one alliance, and a shared horizon stretching from Portsmouth to Toronto across the entire breadth of NATO's maritime frontier.